Okay, so let me start by saying I do not understand soccer. I know there's a ball, I know there's running, and I know every guy I've ever matched with on a dating app has a photo of him casually juggling it. But I don't watch it. I don't even pretend to care. Until this guy, hot, tall, mysterious, named Marco, invites me to a watch party for USA versus Panama during the Gold Cup. And because I'm a clown with no self-preservation instinct, I go. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I pretended to know about soccer, got publicly humiliated, and ended up with guacamole in my bra during a Diego Luna goal celebration. Let's rewind. So, Marco messages me. You into soccer? I say, totally, I love the Gold Cup. Which I thought was a coffee subscription box. It is not. He invites me to this big group watch party at a bar downtown. I Googled how to look like you watch soccer, throw on a USA jersey I bought at Goodwill, and show up 10 minutes early like an idiot. I walk in. It's packed. Every table's full. There's red, white, and blue everywhere. People are already chanting. Marco waves me over. He looks hot. I sit down, smile, try to act chill. He says, so you're a big Diego Luna fan? I panic. Huge, big fan of his footwork. I don't know what footwork is. I just hope that's a thing soccer people say. The game starts. It's loud. I try to follow. The guys around me are yelling things like, press high, switch it. I'm like, switch what? The snacks? Then I see a player sprint down the field. The crowd's buzzing. Someone shoots. It goes in. Everyone loses it. I scream too, like a solid 3 seconds late, but turns out it was a replay from 20 minutes ago, not even a real goal. Marco turns to me like, that was from earlier. I'm like, right, I was just celebrating again. Double hype. I try to recover. I eat a chip. Wrong move. Because then, in the actual game, Diego Luna scores. The real goal. The crowd explodes. Like people are jumping, screaming, knocking over tables. One dude next to me stands up too fast, flings his entire plate of nachos into the air, and the plate lands on my face. Cheese, sour cream, bean shrapnel, all over me. It's like I took a tactical strike from Taco Bell. The whole table gasps. Marco turns to check if I'm okay, and I, in full panic, say, it's fine. I'm just celebrating. And then I do a weird fist pump, like I'm part of a halftime show no one asked for. A woman across the bar yells, someone get her a napkin! She's got salsa in her ear! I excuse myself, speed walk to the bathroom, and stare at myself in the mirror like, this is what happens when you lie about sports. When I come back out, Marco hands me a wet paper towel and says, you're kind of intense. I like it. So maybe I didn't totally lose, but my dignity? Gone. Moral of the story. Never pretend to know a sport just to impress someone. Always check if it's a replay before screaming. And if Diego Luna scores, duck. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever find a piece of jalapeno in your bra 3 hours later, solidarity, girl. Tell me in the comments, have you ever faked your way through a fandom and got exposed? Let's share the shame. Let's bond over bad decisions and bean dip. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out.
Okay, so you know those moments where you're like, this is gonna be fun, harmless, a little outside my comfort zone. And then suddenly you're in a thong bikini, mic'd up, sweating under ring lights, trying to pretend you know how to flirt for reality TV? Yeah. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I accidentally auditioned for Love Island USA and forgot how to be a functioning human on camera. Let's rewind. So, my friend sends me this link that says Sizzling Singles Weekend, Beach, Games, Vibes, Prizes. And I'm like, yes, I am a sizzling single. I love games. What could go wrong? Spoiler, everything. I sign up. I fill out a form. It asks stuff like, are you single? Check. Are you open to finding love on screen? Check. Are you comfortable in a bikini? Check. Asterisk, I answered yes, even though the real answer is barely and only after crying in the mirror. Cut to 2 weeks later, I get an email that says, congrats, you've been selected. I'm like, wow, I never win anything. Look at me thriving. I show up to this mansion-looking thing with a duffel bag full of Target swimwear and hope. There's a guy with a headset who says, hi, Lexi, you're in Group C. Confessionals in 20, then pool intros. Confessionals? Intros? Group what? It hits me. This is not a chill singles retreat. This is Love Island USA casting, and I have been played. I panic. I try to leave. A girl in glitter heels hands me a mic pack and says, can you talk about your biggest red flag while you clip this under your bikini? Girl, what? Now I'm standing in front of a neon heart sign trying to sound flirty while also suppressing the urge to throw up. They put me in a group intro shot. There are shirtless men with six-packs. A guy named Jaden with 2 eyes walks up and says, so, what's your type, babe? I say, honestly, anyone who flosses daily and won't ghost me after 3 dates. The producer whispers behind the camera, can you say something a little more passionate? I try again. I like a man who moisturizes and believes in therapy. Dead silence. Then they hand me a watermelon and say, now go feed this to someone, be cheeky. So now I'm in a swimsuit, sweating, holding a watermelon wedge like a confused Greek goddess, walking up to a man named Austin D, who just said the words, I'm a Gemini, but like a loyal one. I try to be playful. I trip on my wedge sandals. The watermelon hits him in the chest. He gasps like I shot him. A producer yells, reset the fruit. I start crying, laughing. Not cute crying. Ugly, wheezing, mascara tears on my collarbone crying. They ask if I want to film a confessional. I say, only if I can wear sweatpants and sit in a blanket for it. They laugh. I am serious. I don't make it to the next round. But I do get a thank you email that says, you brought a quirky energy. We'll keep you in mind for a future project. Translation, you were too weird for Hot People TV, but we admire your effort. Moral of the story, always read the fine print. Don't bring Target swimwear to a Love Island fight. And never trust a man named Jaden with 2 Ys. Anyway, I'm Lexi. And if you ever see a clip of someone in a sequin bikini dropping fruit on a man's abs, yes, you did. Tell me in the comments, have you ever signed up for something and realized way too late what it actually was? Was it a pyramid scheme, a cult, a hit class? Let's trade horror stories, babes. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out.
Okay, so first dates are already awkward, right? You're trying to be cute, funny, mysterious, not burp accidentally, and then sometimes, just sometimes, you end up halfway out a bathroom window in a man's apartment wondering if this is how you die. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I got trapped in a bathroom on a first date and tried to escape through the window like an actual raccoon. Let's rewind. So I met this guy, let's call him Ethan, at a friend's rooftop party. tall, charming, great jawline, had that just learned how to use moisturizer glow. We flirted, we vibed, we exchanged numbers. 2 days later, he texts, "Wanna come over for dinner? I cook." And listen, I know, red flag territory, but he seemed normal. And he sent me a pic of the dinner setup. Pasta, wine, candles. Say less, I'm there. I show up in my I'm hot but approachable outfit, black jeans, crop top, hoops, emergency gum in my purse. The apartment is cute. A little too clean. Like serial killer or desperate to impress. Unclear. We eat, we talk, vibes are great. Until the pasta hits. Not in a sexy way, in a my stomach is making demon sounds kind of way. I politely excuse myself and go to the bathroom. And that, my friends, is where the real date begins. So I do what I gotta do, human things. Flush, go to wash my hands, turn the doorknob to leave. Nothing. I try again. Still nothing. The doorknob just spins like a damn carnival ride. I'm locked. In the bathroom. I laugh, nervously, like, haha, what a silly life. Then I realize I didn't bring my phone. It's in my purse, outside with Ethan. So now I'm alone, trapped, barefoot, in a stranger's bathroom for what feels like 70 years. I start knocking on the door like, "Hey, hi, small problem. I think I'm stuck." No answer. I knock louder. Still nothing. Then I yell. Not a panic yell, like a flirty, date-appropriate yell, like, "Ethan, I think your door is possessed." Nothing. I check the time on his wall clock. It's been 10 minutes. 10! That's enough time to think, I could die here. I could be found here. So, naturally, I look at the window. It's tiny, high up, but maybe possible if I channel my inner Mission Impossible. I stack a laundry basket on top of the toilet, step up, wiggle the window open, stick my head out. I'm halfway through, just one leg dangling out over his neighbor's bushes when the door flies open. I scream, he screams, I fall backward off the laundry basket, hit the tile floor like a bag of regret. He's standing in the doorway like, "What were you doing?" I'm like, "Your door was stuck. I thought you left. I panicked." He's like, "I was in the kitchen getting dessert." I'm like, "I was in the ceiling." We just stare at each other. Me, on the floor, hair messed up, one shoe off, him holding 2 tiny ramekins of creme brulee like that's gonna fix this. I gather what's left of my pride, put on my shoe, and say, "I think I'm gonna head out." He hands me a spoon and says, "You sure you don't want dessert?" "Sir, I just tried to escape your house like a possum. No, I do not want dessert." Moral of the story is always bring your phone to the bathroom. Test the doorknob before you commit to a toilet. And if you ever consider crawling through a window during a date, maybe that's a sign from the universe to not date men who cook pasta in silence. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I'm banned from that building by choice. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst date escape story? Did you fake a phone call, crawl out a bathroom, Ubered from under the table? Let's swap survival tactics. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Okay, so I've done a lot of embarrassing things in my life. Falling in public, sending thirst traps to my boss, getting stuck in a spin bike. But this is the first time I've ruined someone's engagement on live TV. By accident. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I became the most accidentally destructive relationship coach in morning show history. Let's go back. So, my cousin works for the small local news station. You know, the kind that covers farmers markets and lost turtles and gives away free tote bags with the weather forecast on them. She calls me and says, "Hey Lex, our relationship segment dropped out. Can you fill in? You're funny and single and have a big personality. Just give some light advice." And I'm like, "Girl, I am a walking red flag. Are you sure?" She's like, "It's live TV. What's the worst that could happen?" Foreshadowing. So I show up the next morning looking like good morning chaos. Curled hair, blazer, lipstick that screams, "I own opinions." The host, let's call her Trina, is this perky blonde woman with scary white teeth and the energy of someone who drinks celery juice at 4 a.m. She goes, "Today we're talking about love. We've got Lexi here to share dating tips and a surprise proposal for a one lucky couple in the audience." Wait, proposal? No one told me there'd be a proposal. Now I'm sweating under my blazer. But I try to stay cool. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Lexi. Dating is weird. Don't text your ex. The bar is low. Choose someone who buys you fries." People laugh. I'm crushing it. Then Trina brings up this couple sitting in the front row, Cameron and Jess. Been together 4 years. He's got big puppy dog eyes. She looks mildly tense. Trina turns to me and goes, "Lexi, what advice would you give someone who's been dating for years and still hasn't gotten a ring?" And my dumb, unsupervised brain says, "Honestly, if they're not proposing after 4 years, they probably never will." Y'all, the room went silent. I thought people would laugh, maybe clap. Instead, Jess turns her head like the exorcist, stares at Cameron, and goes, "Seriously? You told me you were waiting for the right moment?" Trina starts sweating, the cameraman zooms in like it's a soap opera, and I'm just standing there like, do we cut to commercial? Then, as if summoned by chaos, Cameron stands up, and I kid you not, he pulls out a ring. He was about to propose on live television. He's literally shaking, says, "Jess, I love you. I was going to do this today, but if you don't believe I meant it, maybe we're not on the same page." Jess gasps. She gets up, takes off her mic, and walks off set. The camera follows her. She flips off the camera, live, in HD. Trina turns to me, still smiling with murder in her eyes, and says, "Well, that's all the time we have for love today. Lexi, thank you for joining us." I mumble, "I'm so sorry," to everyone, especially the network. The moment I leave the studio, my phone starts blowing up. My cousin texts, "What did you do?" My mom, "Did you just ruin a proposal on television?" A random dude I dated once. "That was savage. Wanna hang out?" "No, thank you." Jason. The clip went viral, of course. TikTok labeled me the proposal slayer. People were stitching it like, "Here's the moment Lexi killed romance in real time." And honestly, I deserved it. I was just trying to be funny, and instead I triggered a relationship implosion viewed by thousands. Yay me! Moral of the story. Never give advice live unless you're a licensed therapist or legally mute. 4 years doesn't mean forever. And if a man's about to propose on camera, maybe don't roast him first. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I'll be giving all future advice in private with legal waivers. If you've ever said something that ruined the vibe immediately or destroyed a moment with pure honesty, tell me in the comments. Let's cry laugh together. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Okay. Have you ever said yes to something small, like a free sample or a free coffee, and then suddenly you're emotionally trapped, spiritually confused, and chanting mantras in a Zoom call with a woman named Destiny? Hi, I'm Lexi, And this is the story of how I accidentally joined a pyramid scheme, all because I liked the tote bag they were giving out. Let's go back. So, I'm walking around this weekend wellness market. You know, crystals, cold-pressed juices, vibes. I'm in my comfy era, just browsing, not trying to buy anything, literally broke. Then I see a booth with the cutest setup. Pastel branding, sparkly signs, a girl in a matching blazer skirt combo that screamed, "I own 3 planners." And right there on the table, a pink canvas tote that said, "Empowered women sell stuff." I was like, cute, feminist, a little concerning, but let's ignore that part. I go up and ask if the tote's for sale. The girl, let's call her Crystal because of course, says, "Oh my God, totally. You actually get one free just for signing up for our info session." I should have run. But I wanted that tote bag. So I gave her my name, number, and email like an absolute clown. She hands me the tote and goes, "We're so excited to help you build your future, babe." Build what now? Fast forward to Monday, I get a call. It's Crystal. She says I've been pre-selected for their leadership circle. I was like, what leadership? I just wanted a bag. But she's talking a mile a minute. Residual income, financial freedom, CEO mindset, and I'm nodding like I'm on Shark Tank. Then she says, "Our onboarding Zoom is tonight at 8. Wear something bold and bring your energy, boss babe." I panic. I don't want to be rude. So I say yes. 8 p.m. I log on, and immediately it's giving cult. There's 47 women in color-coded outfits, EDM playing softly, and a slideshow titled, "Your Rise to Riches Starts Here." The first speaker, Destiny, level 7 executive visionary or some nonsense, starts yelling affirmations like, "Who's ready to fire their boss?" And everyone's clapping and screaming, I am! Meanwhile, I'm sitting there in pajama pants, holding my emotional support wine glass like, what did I just join? Then Destiny says, "Let's talk product. You can start your empire today with just one purchase. Our starter power pack, only $499. I thought we were selling candles or something. This was vitamins, essential oils, collagen gummies, and a weird spray that claimed to detox your aura. I messaged Crystal privately, "Hey, girl, I don't think I can afford this right now." And she goes, "That's just your limiting beliefs talking, queen. Real bosses invest in themselves." Ma'am, I have $19.32 in my checking account and half a burrito in the fridge. That's my current empire. Then she hits me with, "You can put it on a payment plan. We also have a credit card for our ambassadors." A what now? At this point, I realize I am being recruited. Not hired, not mentored, recruited. This is a pyramid, and I am at the sad, tote-carrying bottom of it. I mute the call, slowly back out, and then block Crystal, Destiny, and the girl who yelled, "I made $30 this weekend while manifesting," from my life. But guess what? I still have the tote bag. I use it to carry groceries, and every time I see it, I whisper, "You almost ruined my life." Moral of the story? If someone offers you free merch, ask what else it costs. Trust your gut. If the Zoom call feels like a cult, it probably is. And no matter what Crystal says, you're already a boss babe. You don't need to sell magical collagen to prove it. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I'm never signing up for anything again unless there's cookies involved. Tell me in the comments, have you ever been lured into something with free stuff? Did it turn into a side hustle, a wellness trap, a 3-hour cry for help? Let's bond over the MLM trauma. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. So you know how everyone's like, dogs are better than people? Yeah, maybe. Until one of them drives your car into a bush while you're holding an iced coffee and questioning your life. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I almost got arrested because a French bulldog tried to commit vehicular manslaughter, allegedly. Let's rewind. So, my friend Jess was going out of town and needed someone to dog sit her little fur baby named Toast. Yes, Toast, because of course this Frenchie has a brunch name. She's like, he's super chill. He just needs cuddles and walks, and he has separation anxiety, but it's manageable. Let me translate. This dog is emotionally unstable and might burn down your house. But I say yes, because I love dogs, and because I'm broke and she offered money and a stocked fridge. Day 1 is fine. Toast is cute. He snores like an old man and farts like a truck driver, but whatever, we vibe. Day 2, chaos enters the chat. I decide to take him for a quick Starbucks run. Me in leggings and messy bun, Toast in a tiny sweater that says "Born to Nap." We pull up, and the line is long. I'm like, I'll just run in real quick. What could go wrong? Ha, ha, ha. I park, leave the car running because it's cold, lock the doors, leave Toast inside with the heat on. I'm gone for 2 minutes, I come out with my iced latte, and my car is no longer where I left it. I blink. I look around. Is this a prank? Did I get towed? Am I hallucinating? Then I hear a thud. I look 20 feet to the right and see my car in a bush, with Toast in the front seat, wagging his tail like he just did something iconic. I drop the latte, sprinting over like a lunatic in Uggs. I open the door. Toast just leaps into my arms, licking my face like, "Mom, did you see me park? I did so good." I'm screaming, "What did you do? How? You don't even have thumbs." So here's what happened. Apparently, while I was inside, this gremlin of a dog jumped into the front seat, stepped on the gear shift, and knocked it into neutral. The car slowly rolled down the slight incline and directly into someone's very expensive landscaping. And yes, there's a security camera. I know this because a guy from the cafe comes outside holding his phone going, "Ma'am, is this you?" Shows me footage of Toast behind the wheel like he's auditioning for Fast and the Furriest. I want to evaporate. I want to disappear into the mulch. I apologize profusely. No damage done, just a very angry hydrangea and my pride in a blender. I pull the car out, drive Toast fully asleep in the passenger seat like he didn't just commit a felony. I call Jess to tell her, trying to sound casual. I'm like, haha, so Toast is a really hands-on kind of dog. She's like, what happened? And I'm like, he might have briefly driven my car. Silence. Then she says, honestly, I'm impressed. Moral of the story? Never leave a Frenchie unsupervised, especially one named Toast. And if you do, at least make sure you're parked uphill. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I've officially added "dog nearly committed a hit and run under my care" to my resume. Tell me in the comments, what's the most chaotic pet sitting experience you've ever had? Did it involve destruction, emotional trauma, paw prints on your soul? Let's swap stories. Let's heal. Love you, mean it, Lexi, out.
Okay, so most people accidentally go to the wrong wedding. I got mistaken as the bride and then just rolled with it for way too long. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I almost got legally married to a man I've never met because I liked his grandma's energy, and someone handed me champagne. Let's go back. So, I was at this cute vineyard in the countryside, not for a wedding, but for a wine-tasting birthday picnic with my friend Melissa. Now, Melissa is chaotic, and she's like, let's wander around and see what's happening on the property. Next thing I know, we're walking past this gorgeous outdoor setup. Fairy lights, flower arch, acoustic guitar guy. Clearly a wedding about to start. She's like, we should totally pretend we're guests. Just blend in, take pics, grab a canapé. I should have said no. I really should have said no. Instead, I said, only if I get to catch the bouquet. We sneak in. I'm in this flowy white sundress. Mistake number one. I've got my hair up, soft glam makeup, and strappy sandals. And literally, within 5 minutes, this sweet old woman comes up to me, holds both my hands, and says, "Oh my goodness, you look stunning, sweetheart. I'm so happy to welcome you to the family." I panic. I think she thinks I'm someone's date. So I just say, "Ah, thank you." Sweet. Harmless. Right? Wrong. Next thing I know, she's introducing me to other people as the bride, our gorgeous girl. Doesn't she look radiant? And people start clapping. Clapping. I try to correct her, but she pulls me into a group hug and someone hands me champagne. And I just accept it. Because what do you do when 20 strangers are celebrating you? Then someone, I swear to God, shouts, "Where's the groom?" And I yell, "He's on his way!" Like an idiot. Like I know him. I turn to Melissa, whispering, "We have to leave. This is spiraling." And she goes, "Let's just wait until cake. It's disrespectful to leave before cake." The real bride, who I haven't seen, is apparently inside doing touch-ups. So here I am, in her dress-adjacent outfit, surrounded by distant cousins I don't know, accepting compliments and sweating through my SPF. A photographer comes up and says, "Let's get one by the flower arch." I'm like, "Oh no, I'm not." But Grandma is already linking her arm in mine like we're in a Hallmark film. And then it happens. The real bride walks out. She's in this stunning off-shoulder gown, glowing, ready for her moment, and then she sees me, posing with her grandmother, under her flower arch, holding her mimosa with the caption, #blessed already, written on someone's phone. She stops. She stares. She blinks, and then says, "Who is she?" Everyone turns. All eyes on me. I choke. Melissa immediately sprints into a bush like she's trying to phase out of the timeline. I stammer. I was just... And then Grandma, without missing a beat, goes, "That's not my granddaughter. I thought you were doing pre-wedding pics." I start profusely apologizing. The bride looks confused, not mad, just full, "Who let this girl in, and why does she have my grandma's brooch?" I say, "I swear I wasn't trying to crash. I thought this was a wine tasting, and then I got emotionally adopted." She pauses, looks at me, and then she laughs. She literally goes, "You blended in too well. You might as well stay." So guess what? I stayed. We took a group photo. I gave a fake name. I ate 2 slices of cake. And I danced with the grandma who started it all. We still email. Moral of the story? Never wear white to a vineyard. Never underestimate grandmas. And if someone hands you a mimosa and calls you the bride, maybe just say thank you and start emotionally preparing a speech. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I did not get married that day, but I did get 37 new followers and a photo album that says Lexi's Wedding on Facebook. Tell me in the comments, have you ever gotten mistaken for someone else in a weird situation? Did you correct them or just become that person? Let's share our double lives. Love you, mean it, Lexi out.
Okay, so you know how people are always like, you're one viral moment away from being famous? Yeah, they don't tell you the viral moment might involve you face planting in a shopping mall water feature in slow-mo with your butt in the air. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I went viral, not for talent, not for beauty, not even for a hot take, but for becoming a human fountain decoration. Let's rewind. So I was at the mall with my friend Erin, and I was feeling myself that day. Cute outfit, great hair day, lip gloss doing the most. We walk past this big fountain in the middle of the atrium, like one of those indoor bougie hotel-looking ones with the fake marble and the do not climb signs. And I go, ooh, film me walking past this in slow-mo, like full influencer mode. I want to post it with the caption, soft life era. Erin's like, you sure it's kind of slippery? I'm like, I was born for this. Mistake number one. She starts filming. I strut in front of the fountain like it's a runway. Hair flip, side glance, hip hop, full TikTok thirst trap energy. Then I decide to do a little spin, like a light dramatic twirl, for aesthetic. Mistake number two. My boot heel, God bless her, catches on a crack in the tile. And I go down. Like gravity said, absolutely not. My leg flails, my arms flail harder, and I fall backwards, arms pinwheeling into the fountain like a malfunctioning ballerina. But wait, it gets worse. The fountain has these little LED lights and a small raised ledge, so I don't just fall into the water, I fall onto the ledge, then roll, then fully flop into the center basin with my legs sticking straight up like I'm auditioning for the Olympic diving team but forgot how to dive. Splash, mall echo, children gasping. Someone yells, "Is she okay?" Erin, God bless her loyalty, keeps filming because I said capture the vibe and she understood the assignment. I pop up from the fountain like a wet raccoon, makeup streaked, hair matted to my forehead, one earring missing, and the first words out of my mouth, "Did I get the shot?" Cut to 2 hours later. Erin posts the video to TikTok with the caption, "When your soft life era turns into a slapstick comedy." I'm like, haha, 12 people will see it. Whatever. 12 million. 12 million views. Overnight, I wake up to 87 unread messages, 12 missed calls, and a comment section full of, "I've watched this 38 times. Why did her body flop like that? Dot, dot, dot." This healed something in me. Even worse, it ends up on Fail Army and then gets reposted on a gym meme account with the caption, "When leg day goes wrong." People start duetting it, adding slow-mo replays, sports announcer voiceovers, even dramatic violin music like I'm in a tragic movie scene. And then my mom sends it in the family group chat with, "Look at our Lexi," as if I haven't been through enough. I go to the grocery store. Cashier looks at me weird. I go on a Bumble date. He says, "You look familiar." Wait, are you the fountain girl? I go to therapy. My therapist has seen it. She asks how the fountain made me feel emotionally. I say, like I peaked and drowned at the same time. Moral of the story: don't do thirst traps near water. Slippery tiles don't care about your soft girl era. And if you are going to go viral, at least make sure your underwear isn't visible in frame. Mine was neon pink, iconic. Anyway, I'm Lexi. I went viral, not for being hot, not for being funny, for falling like a cartoon character in a shopping mall fountain. Tell me in the comments, have you ever gone viral for something embarrassing? Was it worth it? Did your mom send it to her coworkers? Let's bond. Let's cry. Let's laugh until we fall into fountains. Love you, mean it. Lexi out. Okay, so traveling is already a nightmare, right? Delays, overpriced snacks, people who clap when the plane lands. Now add a suitcase explosion, public pants failure, and a woman, me, sprinting barefoot through security wearing a towel, and you've got my worst travel story ever. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I almost missed a flight, lost my dignity, and went through TSA dressed like a spa ghost. Let's rewind. So I'm flying home from a girls' weekend in Bali. I'm exhausted, sunburnt, hungover. My body is 86% pineapple juice and regrets. My suitcase? Also struggling. One wheel broken, zipper hanging on by a thread. It looks like it's been through 5 divorces. I get to the airport, dragging it behind me like I'm walking a stubborn goat. I check in, everything's fine, until I hit the escalator. The moment I step on, I hear a snap. Then a rip. Then a horrifying splatter. I look back and my suitcase has erupted. Clothes everywhere. Bras, swimsuits, a single heel, one very suspicious-looking face mask, and worst of all, a very large, fluffy, white towel from the hotel that I accidentally packed because it was soft and I have no shame. People are staring. A toddler picks up my bra and yells, "Mommy, look! Slingshot!" I scramble off the escalator, trying to scoop everything back into the suitcase while pretending I'm not dying inside. The zipper's done. It's over. So I do what any unhinged, desperate woman would do. I wrap the towel around my waist like a makeshift skirt. Boom. Instant chaos couture. I tie the towel tight, toss everything back into the suitcase as best I can, and start hobbling towards security. Then I feel a breeze. Look down. My leggings have split. Full rip, right down the seam, backside exposed like a rotisserie chicken. At this point, I've given up on life. I pull the towel tighter, shuffle into security line like nothing's wrong. But oh, it gets worse. Because TSA does not like unidentified towel-clad women who are sweating profusely and clutching a broken suitcase like a crime scene. TSA agent Gary, his name tag said Gary, no jokes, pulls me aside. He's like, "Ma'am, do you have anything under the towel?" And I say, "Emotionally, no." He does not laugh. I have to do the full pat down with a lady agent while she asks me if I'm hiding anything. "Ma'am, the only thing I'm hiding is my broken pride and half a bikini in my bra." They swab the suitcase. It explodes again. Another bra flops out. It hits Gary's shoe. I whisper, "Sorry, it's clean." After 20 minutes, they finally let me go. I sprint barefoot. Yes, I lost a flip-flop somewhere between despair and gate B12, holding my suitcase together with one arm and my towel together with the other. I make it to the gate just as they're closing the doors. The gate agent looks at me, red-faced, sweating, wrapped in terry cloth like I just escaped a hot yoga prison, and just goes, "Rough morning?" And I say, "I don't want to talk about it. Please let me on this plane before my towel gives up on life." She nods. She opens the door. She is now my guardian angel. I board the plane, sit down, and immediately fall asleep wrapped in my towel like the world's most tragic comfort burrito. Moral of the story? Never overpack a suitcase that's already on life support. Towel fashion is not TSA approved, and leggings can and will betray you when you need them the most. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you ever saw a woman sprinting through the Jakarta airport wearing one shoe and a hotel towel, no, you didn't. Tell me in the comments, what's your worst airport meltdown moment? Did you cry in security, lose your pants? Let's trauma bond at 30,000 feet. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out. Okay, so I'm usually pretty good at parties. Smile, sip, compliment someone's earrings, pretend I know what a charcuterie board is supposed to look like. But this one time, I said one sentence, just one, and ruined an entire room's vibe. And it involved a baby. A living baby. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I tried to make small talk at a party and accidentally insulted someone's child to their face. Let's rewind. So I get invited to this intimate dinner party, which I thought meant 6 people and maybe a lasagna. No, this was a Martha Stewart fever dream. Catered appetizers, jazz music, floating candles in bowls of water, and everyone there dressed like they were about to inherit a vineyard. I'm in jeans, obviously. I don't know anyone except the host, who immediately abandons me to go open wine and argue about compost, so I do what any lost party guest would do. Find the snack table, hover, eavesdrop. Eventually, I see a small group gathered around the couch, cooing and softly gasping. I think, someone brought a tiny dog. I wander over, ready to do the whole, "Oh, what a cutie" thing. But as I get closer, I realize it's a baby. A very small baby. Like weirdly small. Like maybe too new to be at a party. It's curled up in a little knitted wrap, all squishy and round, tucked into the corner of the couch like it's part of the decor. And I, thinking I'm hilarious and charming, say, "Oh my God, I thought that was a fancy decorative pillow. Like one of those expensive Etsy things shaped like root vegetables." Pause. The entire group freezes. One woman gasps. The mother, turns slowly and says, "That's my son." I, trying to recover, say, "I meant that in a cute way," which somehow makes it worse because now I'm doubling down on comparing her newborn to a carb. She goes, "He's 6 weeks old." And I, in a full-on brain spiral, say, "He looks very symmetrical." Why did I say that? Who compliments a baby on symmetry? There's silence. Someone sips wine aggressively. The baby gurgles like it's judging me. A man mutters, "Not the root vegetable comment." I want to crawl into the couch and become the decorative pillow I once mistook this baby for. I excuse myself, like hard exit, hide in the bathroom, text my friend, "I insulted a baby, I have to leave the country." Eventually, I sneak back out, try to blend in near the cheese platter, but every time I make eye contact with someone, they give me that tight-lipped, "there she is" smile. The worst part? The mom stays for hours, and every time someone new shows up, she introduces herself, smiles politely, then glances at me like, "That's the woman who thought my child was a yam." Moral of the story: don't try to be funny near babies you don't know. Not everything that's small and squishy is a pillow, and if you're going to compare a baby to a vegetable, maybe pick a cuter one, like cherry tomato. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and I have since learned to say exactly 3 things at parties. Cute baby. Love your Tess. And is there more wine? Tell me in the comments, what's your most awkward social moment? Did you offend someone by accident? Did you flee? Let's cringe together. Love you, mean it. Lexi, out.
Okay, so I've stayed at a lot of Airbnbs. Some are cute, some are haunted, some have rustic charm, which is code for no Wi-Fi and a weird smell. But nothing prepared me for the time I walked into a stranger's house and just started living there like it was mine. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I became a criminal by accident and got offered cookies anyway. Let's rewind. So, I'm doing a solo weekend trip. You know, one of those I need to reset and journal but still have access to oat milk lattes kind of weekends. I book a cute little Airbnb in a quiet neighborhood. The listing says things like cozy retreat, charming details, and self-check-in. Perfect. I'm tired, I've been traveling all day, and I'm ready to slip into sweatpants and eat snacks in peace. I pull up to the house, white fence, potted plants, porch swing. It's giving Pinterest dream home. I double-check the address. Yep, correct. Key under the mat. Yep, there it is. The door's already unlocked, which I think is a little weird, but hey, maybe the cleaner just left. I walk in like I own the place. Mistake number 1. It smells like vanilla and warm laundry. Adorable. I kick off my shoes, drop my bag, put the kettle on, snoop through the bookshelf because obviously, and then, and this is important, I flop onto the couch, full dead starfish flop. I am home. 10 minutes later, I'm in a hoodie, sipping tea, watching some random baking show on their TV. And then I hear the front door open. My first thought is, oh, the host must be dropping something off. So I just yell, "Hey, I'm Lexi, great place," because I'm delusional. Then I hear 2 people whispering, then a very confused male voice say, "Who's Lexi?" I sit up, and standing in the doorway is a middle-aged couple holding reusable grocery bags and looking at me like I just appeared through the wall. The woman goes, "Can we help you?" And I, still not getting it, go, "Oh, I'm just staying here. I booked it for the weekend." They look at each other, look at me. Then the man says, "This is our house." Silence. I blink. They blink. The kettle starts screaming in the background like it knows I've committed a felony. I grab my phone, check the address. My Airbnb is next door. Next door. As in literally the house next to this one. Identical porch, identical plants. Only difference, this one wasn't for rent. I slowly stand up, tea in hand, and say the only thing I can. "Would it help if I said your couch is very comfortable?" The woman starts laughing. The man is still processing like he just found a raccoon using his Wi-Fi. I apologize 47 times. Grab my stuff, run out barefoot, and find my actual Airbnb next door, key under mat, door locked, everything normal. But the story doesn't end there. Because the next day, there's a knock at the door. It's the same woman holding a Tupperware of chocolate chip cookies. She goes, "Thought you might want a real welcome this time." I almost cried. Moral of the story, double check the house number. Then check again. Just because the vibes are right doesn't mean the address is. And if you accidentally break into someone's home, be charming enough to get cookies out of it. Anyway, I'm Lexi. I've been a lot of things. A dog sitter, a bridesmaid, a human fountain. But this was the first time I was a very polite intruder. Tell me in the comments, have you ever walked into the wrong place, wrong car, wrong class? Let's confess together. Love you, mean it, Lexi out.
Okay, so I cook sometimes. Like, I dabble. I once made an Instagram story of scrambled eggs and captioned it "Chef Life." That's where I'm at. So naturally, I had no business entering a chili cook-off. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I accidentally entered a high-stakes cooking competition, served a chili so spicy it broke a man's spirit, and somehow won a ribbon. Let's rewind. My friend Trina texts me on a Saturday. "You come into the food fair?" I'm like, "Duh, I'll bring something." She's like, "Great, I'll sign you up." Cool. I assumed this meant like a potluck. Show up, drop off a crock pot, eat pie. Wrong. I get there with my little slow cooker full of my experimental chili, which BTW contains 3 kinds of beans, hot sauce I bought in Mexico that had a skull on the label, cinnamon, and 1 accidental handful of ghost pepper flakes that spilled while I was dancing to Beyoncé. I walk in and realize immediately, this is not a potluck. It's a full-on chili arena. Tents, banners, aprons, branded ladles. One guy had a sponsorship sign, and I am wearing a crop top that says spicy but confused. Trina waves from across the field like, "You're contestant 13, go set up." I'm like, "I thought this was casual." She's like, "LOL, nope. Winner gets $500 and a trophy shaped like a jalapeno." So now I'm panic scooping chili into tiny cups while a woman named Marjorie in a full embroidered chef coat sets up next to me with a literal butane torch. People are walking around tasting everything. I try to act normal. Then the judges show up. Yes, real judges. One is wearing a badge. One has a clipboard. One might be the mayor. I'm not sure he had that confident, I control parking laws energy. They get to me. I smile, say something stupid like, "This chili's got a kick and a little trauma." They laugh. They try it. Two cough. One sweats instantly. One silently walks away. I panic. I'm like, haha, it's a bold flavor profile. But inside, I'm screaming, I've poisoned government officials with bean lava. Then, like 15 minutes later, someone announces, "We're looking for Judge Kenny. Has anyone seen him?" And someone else yells, "He ran into the porta potty and hasn't come out." Y'all, I destroyed Judge Kenny. There's a mini commotion. Marjorie next to me whispers, "Rookie mistake. You never go that hot without a dairy chaser." Meanwhile, people keep coming to try my chili. Why? Because word spreads that it's dangerous. I'm now the hot mess tent. People are filming TikToks of their friends taking shots of my chili and immediately crying. One guy high-fived me with tears in his eyes. Another asked if I was single. It's the spice trauma bond, very real. Judging reps up. They finally fish Kenny out of the bathroom. He's alive, but definitely different now. Then they announce the winners. I'm like, okay, cool, I'll go home and burn the evidence. But then, third place, Lexi's sinister bean surprise. I get a ribbon. I get a small envelope. I get an awkward high five from Kenny, who whispers, "Never again." Moral of the story? Never let your friend sign you up for anything without reading the fine print. Ghost pepper flakes do not play. And sometimes you don't have to be good, just unforgettable. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you were at the Franklin County chili disaster of 2023, you already know. Tell me in the comments, what's the most unhinged thing you've ever brought to a potluck or the weirdest event you accidentally entered? Let's bond. Let's cry. Let's never trust spice labels again. Love you, mean it, Lexi out. Okay, so grocery shopping is supposed to be chill. Therapeutic, even. You get a cart, you wander the aisles, maybe flirt with a cute stranger over bananas if the universe is feeling generous. Not this day. This day, I went to war. Over cheese. Hi, I'm Lexi, and this is the story of how I got into a full-blown grocery store showdown over brie. Let's rewind. So, it's a regular Tuesday. I'm wearing leggings, no makeup, hair in a messy bun that says, "Don't speak to me unless you have hummus." I go to the local upscale-ish grocery store. You know the one. Overpriced, full of people who wear Patagonia vests and have strong opinions about sea salt. I'm in a great mood. I'm making a charcuterie board for a girls' night. It's giving brie, it's giving olives, it's giving we're thriving and deeply unserious. I wander over to the fancy cheese section, and there it is. The cheese. A wedge of triple cream brie with a tiny French flag toothpick in it. It is sexy. It is the moment. There's only one left. I reach for it, and right as my fingers touch it, another hand grabs it. We both freeze, lock eyes, and this woman, mid-40s, power blazer, aggressively highlighted hair, says, "Oh, were you going for this?" I smile politely and go, "Yeah, but it's okay. You can have it." Lie. That was a test. If you were a good person, she'd say, "No, you take it." But no, she just goes, "Great, thanks," and puts my brie in her cart. I stand there, in shock, next to the goat cheese logs that now feel cold and unsatisfying. Then I hear her on the phone say, "I grabbed the last one. People were circling like vultures." Circling? Vultures? Ma'am, I am the vulture. Now I'm mad. Not full rage, but like irritated theater kid mad. So I follow her. Not in a stalker way, in a respectful cheese justice kind of way. She's strolling down the aisles like she owns the place, tossing arugula and oat milk in her cart, humming. Meanwhile, I'm low-key planning a heist. Then, a miracle. She stops to take a call, puts the brie on the little shelf above the frozen peas. Abandons it. I look around. No one's watching. So I do what must be done. I swoop in, snatch the brie, yeet out of frozen foods like a criminal with a dairy addiction. I think I'm safe. I make it 2 aisles away, and then, excuse me, I turn. She's there, hands on hips, looking at my cart like I just stole her child. "Did you take my cheese?" I play dumb. "What cheese?" "The brie." "I thought you didn't want it anymore." "It was in my cart." "It was on the peas." She scoffs. "That's called temporarily placing something." I say, "That's called public domain." And then she tries to take it back out of my cart. Actual hand in cart. I yank the cart back. She gasps like I slapped her. People are watching. One old man near the avocados whispers, "Let him fight." A manager shows up. He's 19 years old and terrified. We both start explaining our case like it's a murder trial. She's like, "She stole my brie." I'm like, "She left it. That's abandonment." The manager looks at us, clearly wants to disappear into the oranges, and says, "Let me check in the back." We wait. In silence, like cheese enemies in a war film. He returns, holding 2 bries. I almost cry. We both get one. She huffs, rolls away like a suburban storm cloud, and I clutch my brie like it's a newborn. I check out. Triumphant, victorious, and traumatized. Moral of the story? Never trust a woman in a blazer in the cheese aisle. If you put it down, it's fair game. And sometimes the grocery store becomes the gladiator arena you didn't ask for. Anyway, I'm Lexi, and if you see me guarding dairy products like my life depends on it, yes, you did. Tell me in the comments, what's your most unhinged grocery store moment? Cart collision, accidentally flashed the butcher, fought a child for a rotisserie chicken? Let's swap scars, babes. Love ya, mean it, Lexi out.